Do we have HPD or HFD? Shall we?
Then I have two.
Aloha mai kako. The meeting of the Kuli'ou'ou Kalani Iki Neighborhood Board will now come to order. Welcome all of you for being here and for representing your community and bringing community concerns to us to hopefully be recognized and solved. Thank you. I'd like to first start with our first responders. Honolulu Fire Department. Hello. I know you just got in the door, but you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, go ahead. The mic is yours.
Captain Wasserman, Guadalupe Fire Station. Let's see, statistics provided below. Let's see. So in October 2024, we had 1 nuisance fire and 7 activated alarms with no fire. For emergencies, we had 38 medicals, 1 motor vehicle crash or collision, 1 mountain rescue, 1 ocean rescue. And nuisance fire includes a rubbish fire outside a structure or vehicle. This month's fire safety tip is on kitchen and cooking safety. Cooking is the leading cause of home fires. Protect yourself, your family, and your neighborhood by practicing these prevention tips. For more information and resources, visit fire.honolulu.gov. Stay in the kitchen while you're cooking. Do not leave cooking unattended. If you must leave the kitchen, turn off the stove. Keep items such as oven mitts, wooden utensils, towels, etc. away from the stovetop, even when the stove is off. Never store items on top of the stove or cooktop and inside the oven. Keep a lid nearby to smother small grease fires. Smother the fire by sliding a lid over the pan and turning the stove up. Only plug one heat-producing appliance, such as a coffee maker, toaster, etc., into an outlet at a time. Create a 3-foot child and pet-free zone around your cooking area. That's all we have. Questions?
Any questions for Honolulu Fire Department? Thank you very much. And may you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. And nobody fried turkey, okay? Don't get burned. Don't cause what. Good night. Do we have Honolulu Police Department on the line?
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Thompson from District 7. I'll start with the stats for October. For motor vehicle thefts, there were 4, 2 burglaries, 11 thefts, and 4 unauthorized entry to motor vehicle cases. Total calls for service for the month, 6,075. Safety tip for the month, driving in the rain. Rain is blamed for thousands of accidents yearly. Many of these accidents are preventable, but are caused by intrepid drivers who don't realize that fair and foul weather driving are fundamentally different. When the road is wet, the film of the water on the asphalt causes tires to lose traction. Less obvious is the fact that rain reduces drivers' perception. It's harder to see through the rain, and also decreases visibility through its action on headlights, windshields, and the road itself. While most people know to slow down in the rain, there are definitely other tips that help keep you and those who share the road with you from becoming statistics. Now let's go through some of the tips. Is allow more time for travel. Drive at a slower pace than normal when the roads are wet. Just keep in mind traffic's likely to be moving slower as well. Brake earlier with less force than you would normally use. This increases your stopping distance, but allows you to not to lose traction on the wet surface. Don't attempt to, if you can avoid it, try to go around it. And keep your car in good condition with working headlights and good tires. And more tips can be found on honolulupd.org. And I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have questions? Oh, yes, we have one. Okay, go ahead, Sherry.
Hello. I'm wondering, are you guys, the police department, are you ready for the Honolulu Marathon coming up in December? Because we've had very big issues. I'm going to request that we have the police and the marathon come in December to talk to us because it'll be before the marathon. We have very big issues that the police are not helping with the signs that are on the road that say to allow cars to leave after a proper safe interval has happened in the crowd. What's happening is that the police turn their backs, they go out into the middle of the intersection of Kalani Highway, and they won't talk to the residents. They won't read the sign, and they're actually the guy that was there last year was very rude to the residents trying to leave at 12 noon. So I'd like to know if you're ready for the marathon.
They have upcoming meetings for the marathon. The marathon they hire the special duty of the marathon committee. They have meetings that lead up into the marathon. I will let the lieutenant there know that there are issues with that, and maybe that they can be here during December's meeting would be good too.
Yes, the place that I'm talking about specifically, I know lots of people have issues, but it's specifically at the corner of Kalani Highway and Wailea Street. And it would probably also be Kainani, which is Kaimoku, and maybe Wailupe too has an issue. But I know that we have a horrible issue, and there are lots of people in our neighborhood, and the police were just downright rude. Not anything I'm used to since my childhood here in Hawaii. So I'd really like to have someone come and talk to us. Thank you.
Okay.
Lieutenant Thompson, do you have a contact number that I can, or some information so I can reach a member of the organization that plans the marathon and coordinates it with the community?
I don't have that number offhand, but I can email it to you, and I can look that up in the next couple of days and email it to you.
Okay, I appreciate it because then I can invite them directly as well.
No
Do
problem.
we have any other questions for Lieutenant Thompson? Oh, sorry. Tim, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Tim
Good
Stanton.
evening.
Safety. We've all read reports, which is quite embarrassing, I think, about Hawaii being the worst state in the union for driver safety.
Yeah.
For driver safety. I've lived in 3 different countries in my lifetime, and I've never seen such a stage of driving where drivers could save an enormous amount of money because they don't use their turn signals. And in fact, getting here from just up the hill, there were 5 drivers turning left, and to get into the shopping center, turning right, didn't use turn signals. And I firmly believe that could be one of the biggest causes of fender benders. And the other thing I think could be looked into, per square mileage of this state, there are more fender bender shops, I think, than any other state in the union, which speaks volumes. Thank you.
We'll take that into note and enforce those things when we see them.
Are there any? One more question, please, sir.
I forgot to write this down. I know that since the 80s and the 90s, the chair of the Kahala Neighborhood Board, when it was Richard Turbin, and myself and other people have all complained about the speeding on the freeway that then goes on to Kalani Highway. And the highway from 10 o'clock at night on, all through the night, has turned into a raceway park. And now it's every night. It used to be like maybe sometimes on the weekends, but now it's every night. And I can't believe you've got any policemen out there not noticing it. And you just said you'd take care of something if you saw it, but this is happening and nothing's being done about it. And it's been going on like this for decades. Can you tell me what the police department is doing about that situation? Because I looked back in old minutes of Kahala and our neighborhood board, Kalani Kuli'ou'ou, and we've been talking about it since the 80s. And can you tell me what the police department's been doing about that?
So along with our staffing issues, but for the night watch, I know every night they put 2 officers on, they call it line patrol, where they're taken away from doing cases, and they're strictly doing traffic enforcement from 4 hours through the night. And it's usually during the more slower times of the night. So on the patrol level, I know we do that. In the nighttime, we have our DUI and speed enforcement officers. They rotate in areas around the island. I can email them to ask them to request that they come back to our area to conduct more enforcement. So those are the two things that we do have going for enforcement, not only speeding, but for impaired driving as well during our nighttime hours. So I can request for that.
But just to let you know, they're doing over 100 miles per hour. They're going through I can see them passing through the intersection, like 1 second, they're gone. It's like magic. So you're going to have, I don't know, people just stationed there. You're going to see them almost every night on Kalani, on the Ole Highway. And that's where we need your help. We need red light cameras, and then you'll catch them.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Thompson. Do you have any suggestions of other departments that we can engage to address this problem? We know that you're short-staffed.
For speeding,
Yes.
yeah. So for speeding, we do have our traffic division. They do this. They have a speed enforcement team that consisting of solo bike and sometimes you see them driving around the black police cars. And then we have our patrol officers that are there, but our patrol officers also have to respond to the 911 calls for service along with, other things that they do as well as enforcing traffic.
Okay, I was just wondering whether Department of Transportation could assist as well in helping to manage the speed along Kalani Ole. Well, really appreciate your help, and please let us know what can be done or what you're able to do. And we understand your restrictions, but it is a problem, and we thank you for your help and wish that you have a safe Thanksgiving and have a chance to relax.
Thank you. You as well.
Oh, sir, we have one more question
Okay.
from Kevin Walkern.
I fish quite a bit on Pico Drive, and it seemed about 6 or 7 years ago, the police were asking homeowners to remove rocks and trees and other obstacles in front of their houses on the public easement. More recently, a majority of the homeowners are starting to put out cones in front of their houses. So for people wanting to use the public easement, there's kind of about half as much parking. Is that something that the officers need to be asked to address, or do they regularly check to see if people are, I guess, putting personal property out onto the city's easements that should be, that are used for parking on Pico? Thank you.
I know that this issue came up when I was working in the Lanikai area. People were planting trees and putting rocks in the public easement to keep people from parking in front of their property line. I believe that goes with the Department of Permitting to plant trees and place rocks on easement. You need a permit for that, and that's enforced by them.
Just to clarify, call up the building department and to see if they have permits to do
They have to have
Put up
permits.
the roads. Okay, so
Yes.
that's not something you do then.
No,
That would be the city's building department.
right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Lieutenant Thompson,
Thank
and we
you.
wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Next, we have on the agenda Board of Water Supply, but I believe Christopher Sugimoto is unable to attend. Did he leave us with some information for the community?
It's posted inside a Google.
Okay, are you able to summarize it? All right, and we're looking for the information that Board of Water Supply has for us. Sometimes they have follow-up on questions that were asked by the community. I don't know whether that was the case this time. But in the meantime, I'd like to go ahead to public input for items not on the agenda since we do not have quorum yet to go on to board business. So is there anyone who's here who would like to bring up a concern that they have or ask a question? Okay, please come close to the mic so we can hear you.
A little while ago, my wife and I wrote an article that was published in Civil Beat about the plantings in the median strip. Since the article was published, there's the plants and trees and palms are continuing to die. And I reached out to actually Representative Ward, and his office manager, Jillian, is trying to work with the Department of Transportation to see what can be done about getting water onto some of the plants. So if any of you are traveling to Hawaii Kai at the end of the meeting, it might be a little hard at night, but the manila palms, which are the palms that look like coconuts, their tops have fallen out. And the palms that have bigger, rounder leaves, which are fan palms, a couple of the tops of those have fallen out. And it's just a matter of a lack of water. So nobody's fixing the sprinklers. And we do, years ago, the neighborhood board actually recognized one of the contractors that was hired by the state to take care of the plants along the median strip. And we kind of recognized the great work he was doing. But the contractor that's doing it now is, I think, getting paid very well, but not doing anything. He's watching the plants die. So hopefully Gene Ward's office will be able to get back to us and help us.
Thank you, Kevin.
Have you talked to Casey Abe at State Department of Transportation about that?
I will forward the letter that I sent to maybe 20 or 30 people.
Are there any other issues that anyone attending here would like to bring up to pass on to our legislative representatives or the board? Yes, go ahead, Tim.
Okay, it's come to our attention that to have a quorum with the neighborhood board, we need to have 9 people present. Is that correct?
Yes.
Who came up with that idea? Because our system is based roughly on the Roman system of Senate, and their quorum was not 100 members in the Senate. So we can't get anything done. I've been absent for 6 months due to health reasons, which, you know, is a fact of life. But it seems to me we're stymied. How do we go about changing this, making it 2/3, for example? Because this is silly.
Yes,
This
Tim, we're in the, it was kind of well, not arbitrary, but the allocation of 17 members to this neighborhood board was done on the part of the neighborhood commission. And in order to conduct business, at least half of those 17 members need to be present. And you're right, we haven't been able to reach that number of members. And so if we only have 9 people, you know, it's very hard for all 9 people to be at every meeting. So what we're going to do is petition the neighborhood commission to allow us to have fewer members. And what I would like to do is ask for a motion to refer this matter to a committee.
I present that motion.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Well, wait.
It's an agenda item.
Do you want to?
We'll be discussing that once you have a quorum.
Okay.
So we
Oh.
can't discuss the situation. Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's a catch-22. So we're waiting for one more member for us to be able to address the adjustment of number of board positions. So what I suggest that we do is go on to our officials' reports. And if we still have time, we can go ahead to the presentations and then we'll swing back to our board business. Okay, so with everybody's approval, let us go to officials' reports. Zoidella is our neighborhood assistant and he can see who is online as well as who's in the room. So do we have Congressman Ed Case's representative online? Okay. I think everybody is just, their brains are just fried after the elections and they're all having a glass, having a beer tonight. Okay, City Council Chair Tommy Waters is
So.
Adam due?
Yes. So,
I got a message that Dita Holyfield would not be here.
Hi, good evening, Chair. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Oh,
Because there were responses there.
oh, Adam, hello.
Hi, good
Go ahead,
evening.
you're welcome. Come on, the mic's yours.
Great, thank you. I do have a couple legislative updates that I'd like to share with you. The City Council's full council is meeting tomorrow. I do want to talk about a bill that will be for a special budget meeting on Friday, this November 8th. Chair Waters and Councilmember Radiant Cordero have introduced a Kuli'ou'ou housing bill aiming to keep residents in Hawaii. Bill 46, which taxes vacant homes to encourage outside investors to rent or sell vacant homes for use for local residents. Right now, Honolulu's median home price has soared over $1.1 million. That means you'd have to earn about $250,000 in order to afford that home. There's a recent UHERO study that says rent in Honolulu is the highest in the nation. It's higher than New York City, Chicago, San Francisco. In that same study, it shows that approximately 34,000 homes in Honolulu sit vacant. There's also another housing study that says we need over 18,000 units on Oahu to meet our housing demand. I may have shared this before, but Tommy is one of 6 kids in his family that was born and raised here. Tommy, or Chair Waters, went to Kamehameha schools, but many of his siblings went to Kaiser and Castle High School in the neighborhoods of Kuli'ou'ou, and he's the only one left here on the island. I'm sure many of us have family and friends who have left the island. So basically, Bill 46 raises vacant property, or raises property taxes on vacant homes incrementally, 1% the first year, gradually increasing to 3%. This is trying to dissuade outside investors. Honolulu has the lowest property tax rate in the nation, so we're a popular destination for these outside investors. So yes, please, if you're interested in this matter and would like to share your thoughts, please testify. Again, that meeting is the budget meeting that will be held Friday at 10 o'clock. Secondly, you might be familiar with Queen Theater in Kaimuki on Wailea Avenue. Chair Waters has introduced Resolution 24-176, and this requests the city administration to take steps towards acquiring the Queen Theater. After years on the Kamaki Neighborhood Board agenda and with strong community support, Chair Waters initially proposed this resolution 3 years ago, but he later postponed it in hopes of private restoration efforts by the owner. However, the Kamaki landmark has fallen into more disrepair and has been remained unused for decades now. The resolution is scheduled for Friday as well. This meeting, however, will be at 9 o'clock. We also encourage you to testify and share your vision for what Kamaki Theater could become. Committee support is very essential in advancing this resolution forward. And with that, I'm happy to take back any questions to Chair Waters.
Yes, we have a question from Tim Stanton.
Good evening, Adam. Good to see you. Yeah, I remember that theater. When I first came here in '83, I saw a Rocky Horror Picture Show there, which is a bit of history. Paola Road again is having issues in the first big bend. The grass is growing up to 3 feet tall again. I think we've had several elderly people disappear, not being found. When it's cut, it's not hoisted away, and it's quite dangerous. If the relative people could look into that, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stanton. I also request that, because you've brought this topic up several times now, so I also request the department to get that on a more routine maintenance schedule and increasing it. I also wanted to give Chair, your member, Mr. Stanton, a shout out. He and his wife run a wonderful music school in Manoa, and Chair recently provided a honorary certificate thanking Mr. Stanton and his wife on this great music school that they have.
Thanks very much for the recognition and the plaque. It's mainly my wife. She's a lot younger than me, and she fully deserves that. Thank you.
Thank you for the updates, Adam. We have a question from our community. Please come up to the mic.
Sorry, I didn't hear you earlier. Did you say there's a resolution for an incentive to keep locals here?
Yes. So as you know, please go online. You can Google the U Hero housing study. It'll speak about the thousands of local residents that leave the island and the state every year, and how high our housing costs are. So this is really intended to keep Kama'aina local families here on the island, and really encourage these vacant homes to be rented to local families or to be sold and not just sit vacant.
Awesome, thank you. Is that resolution 23 also?
This is resolution 46.
Okay.
Bill 46. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Bill 46.
Bill 46.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam, thank Chair Waters for what he's trying to do to improve the housing situation on our island. And he's been really great in trying to help and you know, again, thank him for us, and appreciate you being here to answer some of the questions that we've brought up in the past, and also to give us updates as well.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And I just lastly wanted to say to Ms. Spengler, we didn't forget about your sign. I've been in communication with Casey Abe. I don't believe that he'll make tonight's meeting. He has a conflict, but he will provide an update in our next meeting. So thank you, Casey. Shout out to him, and thank you, Ms. Spengler.
Okay, I'm going to go backwards to Mayor Rick Blangiardi's memo or answer to some of our questions. I think this is probably from Dita, although she didn't put her name at the end. For those of you who are not board members and not able to get this off of our okay. You does everyone have
There's
copies?
copies.
Oh, okay, so one of the issues is the sewer service charges, and I would just invite you all to come to our next meeting in December. We're going to have someone from the City Department of Environmental Services talk about that. Eric Chang, you're here, right? Yeah, hi. So do you see the information that that follows up on the concerns that your mother raised regarding the new bus stop? And I think you also gave some suggestions on what could be done to make the bus stops work better for our local residents. Let me give you a chance to go through that, but I'm glad that you have a paper copy in front of you. I was going to read it.
You have a copy of the. There's another separate sheet. No, that's the minute.
Okay. I know we all need our glasses. And then another issue was the dangerous intersection at Ani Street and Hainuka Drive. And let's see, there's Department of Transportation Services completed an investigation and did not see any trends related to his concern about having that there were more collisions or any pedestrian incidents at that area. So, but they did, Department of Transportation Services did observe that the signs for no parking and end are missing. So they've issued a work order to replace the missing signs. Another issue was pedestrian safety at the Nenui Place crossing by Holy Nativity School. Department of Transportation looked at that area and they're going to reply about what can be done about the dangerous left turn. Closure of Nenui Place during school hours or during the hours when the students come and leave. And installation of flashing pedestrian lights. No, they're not going to do that. Okay, apparently they don't think it's justified. So that, anyway, that was the response to the concerns that were raised about the children that are crossing in front of Holy Nativity. Can you come to the mic and that way we can all hear you?
We've had a similar issue on Maui. They built a new school in Kihei. And the road fronting the school, there was a nice vacant lot on the Mauka side of the road where they built the school. Good idea. Everybody lives on the Makai side of the road. It's a 4-lane road like Kalani Highway. And people drive at 45 miles an hour. It's situated similar with the sun in your eyes in the morning and in the afternoon. And the Department of Education decided that they would agree with the community and create a bridge or a tunnel to get kids safety from one side of the road to the other. Department of Transportation decided they're going to build a roundabout. So they built a 4-lane roundabout. And against community wishes, they stuffed it in there and made up their own permitting rules. And people in the community were told that 5 kids had to die first before they consider changing it. So for the kids on Aina for the school, the magic number is 5.
I don't think the community should stand for that and should keep pressuring them.
Yeah.
But
Well-
thank you for providing that anecdotal information. That's terrible. That's really sick.
And I read the response for my bus stop.
Yeah.
Right? So they're refusing to use the same bus stops that originally were there and just changing the route slightly to accommodate the loss of parking for the upper Aina area. According to the response, they said they're not going to do anything. They're going to keep their new bus stops the way there is, and then that's it. And they're taking away the 30 parking stalls, and they're not going to do anything about it. And that's what I read on the thing. If somebody else has a different understanding, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but
I apologize. I didn't have a chance to
Yeah.
look at this before. Okay, we need to keep that on the front burner and
but I
not
do
just
not-
accept it.
Yeah, because actually, I don't think it'll affect the city's ability to run their bus routes.
Yeah.
And the loss of 30 parking stalls in a small valley like Aina is not only bad for my mother's place, but for all the other units and houses and owners of those other 30 cars. So I hope we can do something about it. And I don't know why they wouldn't come here and discuss my proposed solution, which doesn't cost them any money and still allows them to remain their routes. Bus stops have been used by multiple routes at the same time. All the bus stops on Kalani on the Oli Highway have many bus routes using this exact same stops. So I'm not sure why they can't use the old existing stops to run the additional route.
Did we, I think we have a ghost in our bathroom.
Oh, wait.
Is a ghost for quorum?
Well, I think we're luckier than that today, but I'm still wondering who's back there. Okay. Do you remember whether Department of Transportation Services whether we had someone address these issues specifically at one of our meetings?
Says here, has DTS has not received any update from Holy Nativity School and the SCM. The DTS will not send representative. So until they receive any more updates on this.
Okay. Will you please raise these very constructive solutions again? Because
Okay.
we shouldn't just say, I mean,
Okay.
let this nonsense go on. So
Oh, anyway, you gonna explain my solution again? Sure.
not
no.
not right now.
Okay.
We want to get Department of Transportation Services here. Go ahead, Sherry. Sherry's had a lot of experience with these kind of
Well, no.
things.
This one's confused me on, under pedestrian safety at Ninui Place Crossing, that's number 3, under their number 1 question, left turn from Kalani Anaole Highway onto West Tyne Drive. I'm confused. I don't think that was the issue. I think the issue was exiting East Tyne Drive onto Kalani Anaole Highway. And then they brought up they wanted to have a left-hand turn from West Tyne Drive onto Kalani Anaole Highway. So they wanted East and West Tyne Drives to be able to go. Anyway, I don't think they got that number 1 right.
I think they wanted to move the left turn that's next to Holy Nativity
Yeah,
Church
yeah. So
to a different one.
this says it's from Kalani Anaole Highway onto West Tyne Drive. And I don't think it's not correct.
And I would like to just caution people that there's somebody in the Department of Transportation that loves roundabouts And if they did it to the people in Kihei, they might do it to the people in Ainahaina. And I wouldn't like to see a 4-lane roundabout in front of Ainahaina.
They tried to put one out there in front of Long's or just above Long's
Oh,
on West Hine Drive, and that got stopped. Yeah, that got stopped.
Well, thank you for stopping it.
Yes, I will forward this response to Holy Nativity School so that they can correct it and hopefully we can get DTS to come to one of our next meetings and clarify their recommendations. Okay, and we also have a question here. Hi. Hi. Oh, come to the mic, please.
I'm Lathan, I'm Eric's brother, my mom's house situation with the bus, but just to understand this, they make no mention that there's another bus stop directly across the street. So she has no parking anymore, right? But it sounds like their response is, oh, we forgot to put the no parking signs up. So they're gonna put no parking signs to make sure no one parks on both sides of the street anymore. That's their solution? Is that what this says, basically?
What do you understand from this, Sherry?
What I don't understand why they would do that, but what I do know, what Department of Transportation Services of the city has to do is do they have to go to each household and ask if they want no parking signs. So that's how you go back and stop it or correct it. You go back to them and say, wait, where's your petition? Where was your notification? And asking our desires for that. And they have to get, I forget what it is, 80% or something anyway. They can't, at least in the old days, I don't know if they've changed the law, but they couldn't do it in the old days. So you need to check into that.
It's
Can we provide provide contact information, a person that they can talk to?
no. Now, Eric has tried to contact other people about this and no response from anyone, including Tommy Waters' office.
I would contact John Nucci's office because we have a contact for him, don't we?
Yes.
And ask them to put you in contact with the right people.
Okay.
To find out why they didn't do an assessment of the community as to what your preferences were or were not for that area for no parking signs. They
That'd be-
theoretically in the old days couldn't just do that.
Thank you.
Can you get back to that so I can give you the information? Okay.
Adams.
I'm the next door neighbor. The Changs told us what was going on about the bus stop. We never heard anything about it. And they were made aware just a few days before it started happening and the bus route had changed. When we walk several blocks on House Street, now we're on House Street, Kalani is adjacent to us. So, and then there's Liwai, Waiho, and Nohu. There are 3 bus stops on our side of the street, which is the mountain side, all the way down. And I don't understand why it's necessary to have 3 bus stops within not even a half mile. I mean, it's like maybe just a 3-block walk. And there's 3 bus stops. You make a left on Nohu, and there's 2 bus stops directly across from each other. People are parking on both sides of the street, so we have to sneak in and out. And there's just no parking for my home and the Changs and other homes that people have just kind of thrown their hands up and said, okay, well, this is how it is. No notification, no anything until it's implemented and it's too late. We see the city and county trucks putting up new signs on the pillars. And it's just ongoing like this.
Go ahead.
One more thing you can do is discover the joys of walking door to door. You do your own petition. You go up and down the street of as many affected residents and ask them their opinion. And you have it written on the top of a paper.
Uh-huh.
How do are you for this or against this? And if they want to have their comments, they can do a separate page discussing why with their signatures, time and date. And you do some of the homework for Department of Transportation Services for them. But I would have them contact John Nucci's office and have him tell you who you can talk to directly about that. And if there are any new laws, because they didn't used to do it like that.
It doesn't seem as though anybody within the city had even just driven there to see what
Yeah.
the impact is from this rerouting of bus and the lack of parking. They just, they see it on a map. Okay, well, we'll just highlight this and okay, this is where we're going to put the new signs and we're going to change everything, where my neighbor Eric has given them an alternate route so that we could save these parking spaces for people who have been in the neighborhood for 50 plus years.
So
Go ahead, Tim.
Wherever I've lived, I found that various departments have coffee breaks, and that's where these things are discussed. And when you have an issue, they hide behind their desks. What we need is a ray of sunshine. I can look into it with my contacts, but the thing is, contact Joe Moore, get it on the news, get a name of the person responsible. That's the issue, because they hide behind their desks and their glass doors, and it just finger pointing inside that department, and nothing ever gets done. This is absolutely incredible, but it's a way of life in Hawaii with various departments. And my sincere thought is get it open on the news, get a cameraman and a reporter up there interviewing some of you, and just say, we don't know who's doing this. Who is responsible? Where does the buck stop? Who signs these orders? That's, in my opinion, what should be done.
one minute.
Microphone, please. Microphone, please.
We're pretty sure Charlene is 100% correct that it was done on a piece of paper down in the city building, because they stuck a bus stop in front of an abandoned house where the sidewalk was destroyed and the wall was falling down on the sidewalk and it was overgrown with weeds. So it was impossible for it to be used as a bus stop safely, but they stuck a bus stop there because it must have looked good on paper and nobody bothered to drive through the valley to check it out.
But who signed the work order? That's what you need to find out.
The person was supposed to show up from the Department of Transportation tonight.
No, they're waiting for some more input from the Holy Nativity,
Mhm.
Holy
So-
Nativity School
But
representative.
nevertheless,
Somebody,
get a TV station out there with a camera crew
True.
recording you.
And also get a copy of the work order. You can do that. You go down, we've done this. I have done it. Lots of people in our community have done it. You go down to city DTS, Department of Transportation Services, you ask to see the work order and you copy it. And then you go and talk to whomever you have to talk to. And because most of the time it's not an evil intent, they're just trying to get jobs done, and they don't they don't dot all their I's and cross all their T's. But if you galvanize as a community and do what Tim said, get a camera down there, chat, Bob Moore, whomever, Bob Moore, Joe, one of those guys, get the work order and start making waves, and then you show the government bureaucracies that you care and are organized. Then they'll look at it more closely. But you got to get the work order, see the names, talk to John Nucci, tell him that you guys care and how long you've been in the community. He's a nice guy. And if you do all that little homework steps, it really goes a long way, and more than likely you'll win if you galvanize.
What did come to mind for me just now is a paper like this was stapled or put into one of those sleeves and taped onto poles. So when you're driving up the street to your home, you see this thing on a pole. You don't know if it's a lost and found pet or whatever, just stating what was going on. And we didn't know about it until the neighbor told us.
Yeah. I have an
Is
idea.
that how they notify people?
I have an idea. If you guys could leave me your name and phone number, I'll contact you.
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime you see a piece of paper or a sawhorse, a guy in a vest, guy in a truck, You go out there and you smile, you make friends, talk story, you say, hey, what you guys doing? We do it all the time. It's the only way you find out what's going on. And sometimes you can find out about it because it's going to happen tomorrow, or sometimes it's a year in advance. You got to do it every time. That's what you have to do. And I've been here forever. Territorial days.
Thanks for
That's what you
making
have
it
to
happen.
do.
Yes. Okay, we have, uh, we have a question relating to the, I believe the Ani Street and Hind Yucca Drive intersection problem. Mr. First, are you still there? Hello, Richard First?
Yes, I'm
Hi.
here.
Hi, thanks for being patient. You heard
Yes,
what I
ma'am.
read? The response?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Chair Burkhardt. I was just wanting to ask for clarification. Did what you read mean that DTS did another traffic study and determined that there was no need for any sort of additional signage to warn people of pedestrian crossing or other traffic control means?
You know, I'd be happy to send you what they sent us. And then you could look at the wording, but the wording implies that this is a new study, but I can't verify that.
I see. All right, well, I will definitely wait until future meeting when representatives from DTS are available because I'd be very happy to discuss this with them.
Yes, and you know what? There are contact numbers on the, that are in this response, so that might help too. And an order number, a reference number.
Is there any way that someone there might be able to post that information in the chat for the meeting?
So Adele, can you do that?
I-
Em- what would be the best way of getting it to him?
I'm asking him to send me his email address so I can.
Oh, okay.
I'll post it and I will post it on the Google Docs as well.
Okay, Mr. First, can you please respond to Zoidel's inquiry? He's gonna, he's asking you for your email number, email address, so he can send you this response.
Yes,
Huh?
I have.
thank you.
I did not post it yet.
There is not. Oh, okay, so, shall we, I think we should just finish out our officials' report since we're near the end. Is Teresa in here? Online for Senator Chang? Okay. And we know Casey Abbey is not going to be
Yeah.
with us. Okay. So let us begin with board business. We have a quorum now. Thank you, Kalani, for being here. Or wait, is she here? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a question?
Go to the mic.
Please come to the mic so we can hear you. And please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm cool. Roger. I was wondering if there is a suggestion of where I can make suggestions about the bus stops, because I catch bus out on all the islands. I travel Maui, Big Island, Kauai, and I catch bus majority of the time. So is there a place where I can make suggestions on what can make these better?
Let's see. How would be the best contact for him? Would it be John Nucci
Actually, you would for the bus.
or bus?
Or is it bus or
The
bus
bus,
stop?
it's actually the bus.org would be the best place to go, and
Okay.
then go under feedbacks or even complaints as well.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so for board business, I think we explained our first issue, which is okay. No, that's the whole issue. Okay, so we have vacancies for several of our sub-districts, including, and I will go by the map that's on your agenda, is Lower Wailaiki. We have one vacancy. Upper Wailaiki, we have one. Wailupe Wailupi Peninsula, we have one vacancy, Aina Haina 3, Niu Valley 1, and Kuli'ou'ou 1 vacancy. I am pleased to see that we have 2 Aina Haina residents who may be wanting to join us, and we thank you for, especially Mr. Fuji, for coming to several meetings and patiently waiting for us to have a quorum so that we can hear more about you and hopefully vote you in to join us on this board. Would you please come on up and Mr. Fuji, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like to be part of the neighborhood board?
Sure. Hi. First of all, I'd like to start by thanking you all here because I think this is my 5th or 6th meeting, and I cannot, for the life of me, appreciate your patience. It must be so frustrating to come every week or every month, try to do business and not have enough people to conduct the business. I've been a resident here in the Anaheim area since 1999. For 25 years, I've lived here, and I've raised my family, basically my kids who are now adults. But I've been a part of, I retired from the Honolulu Police Department. I spent 34 years there. And I've been out of service, so out of the department for quite a few years now, but I still do volunteer work with them. As far as community activities, the reason why I want to become involved is, first of all, I wanted to see what the heck neighborhood board was all about, because I really had no idea what neighborhood board was all about. And, I told my wife that we've lived here for 25 years now, and the community has been very good to us. It's been a really wonderful place to raise our family, and it was time that maybe I give back a little bit to our community, which is what spurred me to take an interest in finding out what neighborhood board is all about. I was, and I still am, so impressed by your dedication. And I was completely ignorant as to how much the in-depth research that you guys do and the effort that you put in to help this community. Very humbled by it. Spurred me to become more involved, and I realized that if I'm going to become a part of the neighborhood board, before I did that, I needed to get involved in my Aina Haina community. So I've started to go to the Aina Haina Community Association meetings, because how dare I represent a group of people or an organization that I know nothing about. So right up front, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to need some catch-up time. But I've been researching some of the things that you guys have done. I'm totally astounded. Other activities that I do, I'm a seasonal coach, 25 years at one of the schools back in Honolulu. Aside from volunteering with the Honolulu Police Department's peer support and critical incident stress management team, I'm a volunteer member of the Hawaii Law Enforcement Federal Credit Union. I'm a volunteer board member there. What do I bring to you? I can bring a commitment to help you conduct business to make our community even better, hopefully. Pretty good knowledge of how the city works. When I retired from the police department, I was a spokesperson, so I know all about the media. And spot on. I mean, but do your research, and I can give you tips on how to present yourself, because there's just little nuances about talking to a cat, because it feels weird like hell, man, initially. And, preparation is the best thing, But anyway, I just want to avail myself to this board in whatever way I can. And again, caution you that I've got a lot to catch up, but I'm willing to put in the work. And I'll end how I started by saying, I really want to thank each and every one of you folks for your commitment and your dedication to keep our community the way it is. It's been just a phenomenal ride for my wife and I and our 3 kids who are now off and doing their own things. But thank you guys. I mean, you guys have vested so much of your time and effort here, and I truly appreciate that. So thank you.
Well, yeah, Yes, may I have a motion to recommend Mr. Fuji? Yes, oh, question, please.
Are all your speeches going to be that long though?
No.
Yes, question from Tim.
I'd like to nominate you.
Great. So, all right. Shall we do a hand vote? Okay, I would like, I propose a hand vote. All in favor of bringing Mr. Fuji on to the neighborhood board, please raise your hand. All aye. That's unanimous. Congratulations and welcome. So Zoidel, please explain how we are, the formal process of bringing on a new board member. Okay, shall we go ahead with, okay. Brian Walker. Please, will you please rise and come to the mic?
Hello, I'm Brian Walker.
I don't
Yes.
know. Bill, you talked him into this?
Yes, he's probably the second best softball player in this room.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
I'm not going to say who the first is, but he's talking right now. Brian's a good guy, been in the community a long time, and he'd add a little bit of youth to our board. So.
But there's only one seat from what I've heard, so thank you, Mr. Fuji.
No, there's three.
But, okay, but like Mr. Fuji, I'm gonna need to take some time, right? This is my first attendance in a neighborhood board meeting, so I'd like to be able to come in and observe first before I make that commitment. I mean, it's only fair that if I'm gonna try to follow this gentleman in, that I have to bring something. I want to make sure I can do the commitment as well. So I'll attend next meeting. Maybe a couple other, and then, but if you have anybody in line, anybody else wants to step in, please. There's 2 other seats left. Yeah, if I can make a determination later date.
Do you want to tell us a little about yourself?
That was it.
Besides being an excellent softball player?
Second. I went to school on the windward side, Hill, 1980. Served 4 years in the military. Graduated from UH. Did car sales for about 16 years at Circle Lexus. Now, besides playing softball with Mr. Kilcoyne here, helping our seniors with their healthcare insurance through Medicare. I work for Premier Benefit Consultants. A little plug there, but that's okay. So I thought that would be. And my wife's born and raised in this valley. She went to White Valley School before they closed it. Our kids were attending that school as well. So I have three kids as well, all girls. They went to the school before it closed down, ended up graduating from Kaiser. They're still at home though. So all my daughters are still at home. One's a nurse, the youngest one is going to the grad tech program. Let's see. So it's mainly family, work, and have some friends in the neighborhood. And then Mr. Kilcoyne asked if I would consider joining the neighborhood board because I've been here just about 27 years. Once again, my wife's been here all her 62 years. That's the only house she's ever lived in. So.
Cool.
Is there anything we can say to make you sign up tonight? You're more than qualified. You'd be terrific. It's like falling off a log. You'd be perfect. So.
Never fallen off a log there.
You would.
Yeah.
It's a great group. You'd be perfect.
Just give me one more month. Consider it. I want to be able to dedicate myself, and like Mr. Fuji has said, that how much work you guys put into it. I want to make sure if I join the board, the last board I served on, the Scheidler board, I was on that for 7 years, but this was while I was doing another job. So I know the work that needs to be done and whether I can make that commitment. I just want to make sure, this is a little bit different than what the Scheidler was, but so it's hearing some of the topics that goes on, how am I able to contribute to be able to solve some of these questions in regards to the bus route? One question I did have though, just real quick, you had a solution. What was that solution and how would it affect other neighbors now? They're pushing the stop sign. I don't live in that area, so I'm okay with that. But then it's going to be pushed to somewhere. The bus has got to stop somewhere. So how would that solution be able to benefit the whole neighborhood? But thank you. I will consider it, but thank you very much for the invite. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming today.
The solution I came up with was to use the original bus route for the Upper Ainahina bus, which has been in operation since I was in elementary school here for a long, long time. The only change, it would allow the city to have the bus route go from town to Sea Life Park and Sea Life Park back to town. The only change would be currently it exits Pine Drive. It goes in reverse around the Upper Ainahina route past Wailuki Elementary School and down Hao Street. The one that goes towards Waikai turns from Pine Drive on to Nohu Street, the little itty bitty street to get to Hao. Then it goes up around the valley. It crosses at the bridge by Wailuki Elementary and comes down, goes back to Pine Drive and goes towards Waikai. So the change would be don't do the reverse loop, but drive down to Nohu Street, make a right turn, do the same route coming from Hawaii Kai to town. So instead of the reverse loop, go down to Noho Street, turn right, make the loop, get back to Pine Drive, turn right again, and then go to town. It allows the bus route to pass Ainahina both ways. It doesn't cost the city any money, except they have to take away the new bus stops. But a minor amount of money. And they can still use the same bus stops. And bus stops are used by multiple routes all over town. So it's not like you need one bus stop per route. So that's my
Pretty good, yeah.
solution, and I'm not sure why they're not considering it, but
Okay, we're going to take a short recess so
Can I
that,
just say one thing?
oh,
Um,
go ahead.
in terms of, I just want to talk to him.
Okay, Sherry, why don't you talk to him?
No, I want everybody to hear, but it's about,
I want,
I want you to know that when you come on a neighborhood board, what we're really looking for are people in sub-districts who know their community, who reflect the heart of their sub-district community. You know, the Ainahina at large, and then the little area within it that you're in. And that's why we have the sub-districts. And you can dedicate yourself as much or as little as you want to, as long as you come one night a month and reflect the community. And not like you're not you're going to do this, but we're not a royal court here. We hear what the community says. We try and help them. That's all. With any little thing we know, and with a vote, and requesting that bigger bureaucracies come here, and your vote is what counts. It's so important to be sitting on the board and caring, and that's why you don't have to do some of the things that some of us do, but just to be there and vote and care for the community is what's important. That's all. You don't have to do tons of stuff.
We'd like to take a short break so that Mr. Pucci, we're going to take a very short recess so that Neighborhood Assistant Zoidel can swear in Ms. Frank Fuji. And then we will be able to make some decisions regarding other things. So. Sorry, I couldn't hear.
I'm just curious, after recess, we'll be addressing other sub-districts, because I'm curious. I wanna,
About the number of adjusting the,
no, I wanna go.
which sub-districts there are vacancies in?
Yeah. Are you gonna be addressing other sub-districts after recess?
Actually, we're going to start talking about it right now. Adjusting number of board positions.
No, addressing, because then I'm interested in a seat.
On vacancies.
Oh, repeat the vacancies?
He's interested in one of those vacancies. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way I can hear the meeting.
It would be good. We're going to work on adjusting the board number positions, and this is going to affect some of the
Can anyone hear me?
sub-districts.
Can anyone hear me?
Hold.
Yeah.
the question just for a little bit until we vote on the number of board positions?
We're just going to discuss it. He's asking.
Subject Julio, the extra seat.
Well,
Tempting to go in person.
what do you? Yeah, that's what. What's up?
Subject Julio.
So it'd be in Anaheim.
311 Daleen Way. Daleen. Just away from Bruce's.
Yeah.
Probably another hour. They're swearing someone in right now. Wow.
If there's no one else from Kuli'ou'ou that wants it, I am.
Take that out. Take that out. But I mean, I need to confirm that.
Okay, so we're now in the. Yes. Okay.
I think we are reaching different bells. I'm confused. But we have two issues that are somewhat related to each other. And since we've had a problem having enough board members in order to be able to have the fun stuff for the community, we're thinking of taking the arbitrary number of 17 seats that was originally allocated to and decreasing it by, because we have some districts never been able to fill. But yet, we've had to, in order for us to get anything done, we've been required to count on the 17. And that's impossible. I can't, people have other things that they need to do. And so sometimes we have to still try yes.
The other that our there or their representative, if you can allow this.
Wait, talk about that representative organization.
No, the elected official.
Oh, no.
From the area. They can, for our purposes only, not voting. I would just say, part of the board as a non-voting member. So they can't ask people. I just thought that if you get a certain amount of people, they can present and they're being present going on, but they're not able to vote. And to represent the area, might be related enough to part of the forum.
Having the local administrator, that person with the right speaker.
Get a.
I have like to join that.
I was really thinking about. I wanted to remove or wrong. He said that I wanted to remove the bus just went one way and only have one-way service. I didn't want to address the issue of changing your one of the little loop that every bus stop. I did. It's not wrong. I wanted to. One way. If you face the bus, the route to do it one way. But I didn't have a bus. The route to the full is not. Oh, okay. You don't even know me, I think already. No. Thank you. In the area, they could make it not as bad. So they could still do their routes.
No. Show the stops. Where they are. Yeah.
Or. But they didn't. I just thought of part of one here, they want to stretch that. That's only goes as a one way. But I.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, but. Yeah, my mom has lived at the house since my mom has been a resident since 1957. She's been there forever. Okay, got it. But anywhere, I gotta go. Sign. I'll let you know. I'm in a meeting now. Back. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Where's the car? Restaurant. Thanks for saying. Yes. Every side is strict. On the island, yeah. Yes. Yeah, if you could go and see it. Go to their website. You'll find it. Yeah.
Would everyone please take their seats? Would everyone please take their seats? Thank you.
We're not gonna. Yeah, but yeah, that's how to say
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where in the law are you?
Just think of.
We'll now discuss the board business relating to the adjustment of the number of board member positions, and Vice Chair Cowie Lucas will explain this to you.
Okay, so the current the current total is 17, and we have been corresponding with the neighborhood commission how to resolve this. And the easiest, quickest way is a temporary reduction to 13 seats for the rest of the year until we all are have to run for election next year. So looking at the where we already have people and where we don't have people. So we already have 2 representatives from starting, I'll start from 1. The one is Lower Waialaiki. There's 1 available seat and there's none filled. There's Upper Waialaiki, 1 available seat and no one from that district. Sub-district 3 is Po'ola Street, Wili Nui Ridge, 1 available seat, no one serving. Sub-district 4 is Kalani, 1 available seat, no one serving.
No, you already have a 3. Number 4. The 3 is already.
Oh, filled. Sorry. 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 Read the wrong column there. Okay, number 4, Kalani Iki. We have 1 seat filled. Number 5, Wailupi Peninsula. There's 1 seat and it is vacant. That's maybe clearer way to say it. Sub-district 6, Aina. There are 6 seats total. As of tonight, there are 2 vacancies. So we have 4 filled, 2 vacancies. Niu, we have 2 filled, 2 of the 3 filled, and 1 vacancy. Kuli'ou'ou, we have 2 of the 3 filled and 1 vacancy. So we need to reduce 4 seats. So taking from the areas where we already have representation, that would be Aina, Niu Valley, Kuli'ou'ou. And then Wailupi Peninsula, because it is small, and I'm taking the word of my those of you who have been here the longest, that there hasn't been anybody from Wailupi in for a long time. Yeah. So the suggestion is, and again, this is temporary, this is not forever. There's another discussion which we don't have to have tonight, but which we can consider later on, which is some areas are moving from having sub-districts to all at large. We're not going to address that tonight. Right now, we want to become a functional operating body, decisions, and the low-hanging fruit way for that is for us to reduce the number of seats we have from 17 to 13. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the question that I propose that we reduce the number of seats from the following sub-districts by 1. 8, Kuli'ou'ou Valley, 7, Niu Valley, 6, Aina, and 5, Wailupi Peninsula. Yeah. That is temporarily until next June.
Can I make a slight change to that? I will get on my horse and I will go around Wailupi Circle and knock on doors because I think it's important. I would like to recommend.
Excuse me, wait, did we have a second?
I gave a second.
Okay.
So, Tim,
I would
you're
like to recommend we
trying to try to find us someone from from Wailupe Peninsula.
Yeah, and we've got two on Wailaiki, is that right? And I'm not sure if they're going to warrant that because it's a big gated community. I'd like to reduce that by one, but include Wailupe Circle, swap that out. Yeah. Yeah.
One and two are below.
Well, I don't think we've had anybody from that area for a long time. So I'd like to swap one out from Wailaiki and keep one.
There is only one. The only districts that have more than one seat are Aina Haina, Niu, Kuli'ou'ou. Everyone else only gets one.
So,
Yeah, I want to repeat, this is, we've had 4 months of not having been able to conduct any business. This is temporary. We can go out and go door to door and ask people to sign up and run next. Just think about maybe being functional for the next couple of months. Okay. Okay, so I'll repeat. The proposal is to delete one seat from the following sub-districts. Aina Haina, 6, Niu Valley, 7, Kuli'ou'ou Valley, 8, as well as Wailupe Peninsula, that's sub-district 5. Which will give us a total of 13 seats on the neighborhood board. What? Until June 20, 2025.
Because we have,
Use the mic.
okay. So board members of all neighborhood boards serve a term, and the 2-year term is up in June of every second year. So all of us are going to sign up, or are going to run for our seats again in June of 2025. So this temporary reduction will hold until June of 2025. After which we can add seats if people are interested, and if we representatives say from Wailupe Peninsula, that would be great. So we can always add on. All right, so may I have a second to reduce the number of seats by 4? Oh, I have second. Okay.
Any more discussion?
We had discussion.
Testing. Hello, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so isn't there someone here to want to sit on the Kuli'ou'ou seat? Oh, I see. Okay.
Verification of address is pending.
Oh, I see. So
As soon as you can get it.
okay.
Hey, Janine, you have a question?
Yes, I would like to second Tim's amendment and take it away from Wailaiki because they have two seats. They have the upper and they have the regular. So I'd like to take away from one of them.
Uh, there's only one for Lower Wailaiki and one for Upper Wailaiki. So each sub-district has one, except for Aina Haina, Niu, and Kuli'ou'ou, Janine.
So Wailaiki and Upper Wailaiki is not the same. It's the same. It's like Aina Haina is a whole big valley, but yet, you know, it's the same thing. You can't just
It's the way they've set it up, and it's just temporary. You know, I don't want to get hung up on this because I want us to be functional so badly. But it is official. There's no difference between Lower Wailaiki or Kalani or Wailupi Peninsula. Each area has only one seat. And I tried to get into, well, who made that up? And that was not a fruitful discussion. And they have a different agenda around all of this, that they're wanting us all to go to at large, which would take care of all of this, really. But let's not have that discussion tonight.
What's confusing is you're saying up, all lower, 1, 2. I represent.
So here's the see this table? Yeah. I don't know about the map. I just know what's the official, the status as of.
Do they call it upper?
Lower Wailaiki, Upper Wailaiki, O'ola Street, Wiliwili Ridge, Kalani Iki, Wailupi Peninsula, Aina Haina, Niu Valley, Kuli'ou'ou Valley. I agree.
No, I like this. She's only telling me
They has a question.
Go ahead, Shelley.
I just wanted to second it as originally stated.
Thank you, Shelley. Are we ready for a by name vote? A vote by roll call? Okay, Zoida.
Okay, so the motion is to reduce the number of seats from the following sub-districts by 1. So sub-district 8, 7, 6, and 5. And this will go in fact until temporarily, actually, I should say, until June 2025. Okay. So. Stanton. Ham.
Yes.
Kilcoyne. Lucas. Gonzalez. Johnson.
Yes.
Sonora Fale. Spangler. Fuji. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, sorry. Burkett. Share. So there's 9 ayes, 1 no. It's adopted.
All right.
So the chair has to write a letter to the commission of this request as well.
So please send me a copy. All right. One more issue under board business before we go to presentations. This is a quick one. in September, you heard about the plan to build an offshore wind farm in the Kuli'ou'ou Channel. Letters of concern have been filed by several organizations. As a volunteer, as a neighborhood board, we have an opportunity to make a position statement on behalf of our community on how we feel about having a wind farm in the channel. May I have a volunteer to draft a letter of resolution or a statement that reflects the position of this neighborhood board regarding the wind turbines? Yes. Yes. Yes, we have that. I have a copy of that. Okay.
Oh, do I have to say that to the mic? Could we adopt the resolution that was adopted by the Hawaii Kai Neighborhood Board? And we
Yes.
don't have a copy of it right now, but like next month,
Yes, we can do that. Okay.
because they did a good resolution.
All right. I'll put it on our letterhead. Thank you. We have two presentations tonight. The first is Jake Reichert. Jake, are you here? Hi. Jake is going to talk to us about the artificial reef project at Mauna Lua Bay. Right up.
Excuse me, when is the time for public input? Excuse me, when is the time for public input that's not on the agenda?
We did that at the beginning while we were waiting for quorum.
I see. All right. Driving in right now, we have somewhat of an issue that has only come to our attention this evening, where we're in the process of fighting with our garbage men. They are trying to make our entire street no parking. And as of this afternoon, we can no longer park on
Excuse
half
me.
of our street.
Excuse me, we're we're in the middle of a presentation. Would you be willing to bring this up at our next meeting? We have passed that portion of the meeting already. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
I'll be
Mr.
down there.
Reichert.
Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Jake Reichert. I'm from the Division of Aquatic Resources. And I'm here to talk about the artificial reef program that we have and the expansion that we're trying to do in this coming year. To give you guys a little history about our artificial reef program, it's been going on since 1961, and we have 3 artificial reef sites here on Oahu, and we have 1 on Maui. Our 3 here on Oahu is here in Mauna Lua Bay. It's about 1.5 miles from offshore from Kahala Hotel. We have 1 in Waianae, and we have 1 right outside Kuli'ou'ou Ranch on the windward side. The Mauna Lua Bay artificial reef is about 74 acres, and it's in a depth range of about 77 feet to 170 feet. This right here is a little closer zoom in from this previous map, which you can kind of see there's Waialae Beach Park. It's that yellow box right there. Zooming in, you can kind of see the depth contour. That first line that's above it, that's about 55 feet, and the lower line is 170 feet. So it's kind of a little bit deeper of an artificial reef. Waianae is around 60-ish feet, and the windward one is around 95 feet. So they're a little bit deeper sites. The goal of this project for expansion of the artificial reef program is we're trying to look at the bay holistically and do place-based management. So as you guys might have heard, we had a meeting early October of our FMA designation, or fishing managed area, for Mauna Lua Bay. So we're proposing doing a nighttime spearfishing ban. And so since we're kind of proposing a type of fishing ban. We're trying to enhance fishing opportunities by doing an artificial reef deployment. And that will entail about 2,200 modules, Z modules, which I'll show you later what they look like. And the pile will probably be about like a 40 meter by 40 meter area on the seafloor, and it will be about 10 to 20 feet high. And then the expansion area is that orange box, and the green one is the current existing one since 1961. To kind of show you the biomass of the artificial reef, Waianae has the highest coral cover out of all of the three on Oahu, but it actually has the same biomass of fish as Mauna Lua Bay. Kuli'ou'ou is a little offshoot because it was deployed on a shelf. There's already kind of a natural reef structure there, and there's large schools of tape and veke, and that's kind of why we have a huge biomass pile, because there's usually about 300 to 400 fish school that's always there, so it kind of skews the biomass a little bit. But Waianae and Mauna Lua Bay are very similar in fish biomass. It's kind of hard to picture this, so I tried to bring some cool photos of our artificial reef. These are all taken out here in Mauna Lua Bay. They're really cool to dive on. There's tons of ulua, mimpachi, alai'is, tape. There's just a whole great range of fish. A lot of mu also like the artificial reef. The artificial reef program has gone through a lot of iterations since 1961. They've experimented with different concrete modules. In the 60s, it was actually cars. So they dumped a bunch of cars out there. They all rusted away. They're actually not, you can't find them out there. There's a couple transom, like axles out there, but you can't see any of the remnants of the cars because they rusted away. That's why we've moved to inert concrete for artificial reef deployment, because the cars just rust away. We have about 14,000 Z modules in the bay currently, and so our 2,000 won't be adding to that much to the current piles that are out there. The forms that we've that have been tried and true for us since the 90s have been these concrete Z modules and cubes. The Z modules are 8 feet long, 4 feet wide, and then a foot on the ends. And then the cubes are 4 by 4 by 4, and they're hollow in the middle. And the idea is you kind of see it in the blue photo, you put the cubes on the bottom, kind of creates these ulua holes, and then you put the Z modules on top of that and kind of make the pile that'll be about 20 feet high. We're trying to use some new technology with our monitoring of the artificial reef program. And so what we're trying to do is create structure from motion, or 3D models. And how that works is we take a bunch of photos one after the other, and it allows us to create 3D images and also orthomosaics, which is this picture right here, which allows us to stitch it in, and we can track benthic change or the benthic succession over time on these artificial reefs. This is kind of our timeline for the project. We've been kind of going to all the neighborhood boards in Mauna Lua Bay. We went to Hawaii Kai, this one in Kahala, and Waialae will be next later this month. We're going through all the permit process. There's a lot of permits we have to go through U.S. Army Corps, and we're trying to get all those permits by this early spring of 2025. And we'll be collecting some baseline fieldwork data before we do the deployment to map the area out and pick a good deployment site. And then we will track the changes over time. And we're going to try to deploy in the summer-ish of 2025. And then we have our yearly monitoring that we'll do after the deployment. We've met with some people in the community. We have a fisher hui, Mauna Lua Bay fishers, and one of them was to make sure we don't pick an area that has a really good, strong nabetta or taco grounds. And so we're trying to pick areas with low coral cover of less than 1% in structure and doesn't have any nabetta or taco, and that's part of the baseline surveys that we're going to be doing. There's also been a push to try to get some fisheries dependent data, which is kind of the catch per unit effort, and we're trying to create a study for that will hopefully maybe be out in the springtime maybe, and we'll try to work with the community on helping us gather fish catch data in that area that we're looking at doing the deployment. We also have, this is kind of a plug for another program that we have, that if you guys are, if you guys have are curious about this is the reef habitat plan. It's for fishers by fishers. If you guys have fished in areas and you need areas that need habitat enhancement or want restoration work, this is a great project that you guys can provide input. You can scan the QR code or message Tyler. His information will be later on the screen. And feel free to ask or send in your questions or feedback for this project is greatly appreciated. But that wraps it up. Do you guys have any questions?
Go ahead, Sherry.
Are you going to go to the Diamond Head St. Louis Neighborhood Board?
We can. We didn't have that.
Wish you'd include it.
Okay.
You mentioned Waialae Neighborhood Board and Kahala, they're the same.
Yeah, so that neighborhood board, then we have you guys, but yeah, we didn't do the Lewis one.
So we need the Diamond Head.
Diamond Head, okay.
And
Is Diamond Head and St. Louis together, or are they
yeah,
separate?
it's
Okay.
two names in one.
Okay.
And I'm wondering who requested this? I mean, who generated this request?
For the artificial reef?
This artificial reef.
It's part of our program. We get DJ funded, and so we have
Get what funded?
it's Dingle Johnson. It's a sport recreational fishing fund. And so we're for the grant is to do fisheries enhancement.
Yeah, but so the community didn't request it, or the fishermen who fish off this bay didn't request it?
The fishers have been wanting artificial reef deployments since like 2008.
Okay, but I really strongly suggest you go to Diamond Head St. Louis Neighborhood Board too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Are these are the artificial reef development areas do these proceed or precede the initiation of a or starting up fishing management areas? So is the goal to have Mauna Lua Bay, that whole area from Port Lock to Diamond Head as a special fishing management area, and have fishermen go to these offsite areas to fish instead? I'm not quite sure what the purpose is.
So yeah, the FMA is from Diamond Head to Port Lock, and for this deployment, we're trying to go for the sites that are slightly offshore. The fishers want us to go shallower, and so for our future deployments, we are open to that idea. We just have to develop a new module design and go through the permitting process. So that is our goal of shallower in that 40 to 50 foot in the near shore environment, because that's what the fishers have been requesting from us.
So is there somewhere where we can read how fishing is regulated now in Mauna Lua Bay? Because I didn't know it was.
You can go on our website. We have regulations. We have a handbook that is printable. So the fishing regulations that are currently in Mauna Lua Bay are our current standards. We do have a lay net restriction ban that's in this area of the island, and we have our normal bag limits and size regulations in Mauna Lua Bay.
Is that about to change as a result of having offshore areas that are now becoming available?
No, the only fishing regulations planned for the bay is the nighttime spearfishing ban and a couple like no helmet urchins or helmet crabs. I don't remember the other ones, but the big one is a nighttime spearfishing ban.
And that's not in place yet.
No, we just did the public hearing October 2nd.
Okay.
So we're going through the Chapter 91 rulemaking process with that.
Yes, we have a question from Kalani.
I have multiple questions. When did this start? What year?
1961.
That this program started?
Yeah. The last deployment was 2008 out here in Mauna Lua Bay.
And then I see Hawaii.gov on there. What is the department or where?
So we are under DLNR. It's DLNR and the Division of Aquatic Resources.
Okay, great. And then so you're here just to share that you're increasing the number. Okay, you're deploying more stuff in there.
Yes, that's the goal. We're starting the permitting process.
Okay. Last question, funding. Are you funded by the Department of Defense?
No.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question from Chris Kramer. Chris, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, aloha. I just well, first I wanted to thank you folks for the good work that you're doing to support fish ponds, and also wanted to just mention that you know, in the 60s there was major dredging in the bay with Henry J. Kaiser, and so that really messed up the way the bay functions as far as the fishery. And so that area that was dredged is not over by the area you're talking about. It's so I would request that you look at the areas that have been dredged to, you know, as far as repairing the coral reefs, because that's been the big shift in the bay, is when all that dredging was done to the reef, and it just ruined the whole function of the bay. So yeah, instead of just citing it anywhere, or you know, I don't know how it was chosen in the site, but I would ask that the areas that were damaged, that those be looked at to be repaired.
Yeah, no, that's a great feedback. We have, if kind of the reason for the low coral on the artificial reefs is because there's a lot of sand scouring in the bay, which is probably a remnants of that dredging. And so where we're looking at deploying it, there is some sand scouring, and so that's why we're trying to build them higher so that we can actually have coral recruitment. Because if you look at the artificial reef, there's like a band about like 2-3 feet. Because the sand and the current in the bay is really strong to like 2 knots. And so that just is like sandpaper on the corals that recruit. And so because the piles are high, that allows a lot of the corals to recruit there. And so that's why we're trying to we're trying to deploy them in areas where there's a lot of sand scouring so that we can build it up to allow for coral recruitment.
Chris, can you introduce yourself to the community for those who don't know you, and please go ahead with your presentation as well. Oh, after we have one more question, but do you know who Chris Kramer is?
No, I do not.
Okay. I would like Chris to just introduce himself, who he represents and what he does.
Yes, so aloha, Chris Kramer with Mauna Lua Fish Pond Heritage Center. So we steward 2 of the Hawaiian fish ponds on this side along Mauna Lua Bay.
Cool. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to have one more question before we let Chris talk about the Kaniwai Spring
Part of the reason,
restoration. Go ahead, Cherry.
part of the reason Mauna Lua Bay has been partially destroyed is all the building on all the ridges that happened in the 60s. And all the dirt came down and just covered that area and covered the fisheries and covered the coral. So I'm wondering if your group, and you say it's partially under DLNR?
So we are aquatic resources. So up Mauka is DOFA. They have that.
You're part of the state then.
Yes, we're part of DLNR.
So I'm interested why you aren't doing any kind of an environmental assessment, because that's very fragile. I guess it's a great thing. I don't know, but I don't know why you're not doing an environmental assessment, because it is touchy out there. And I think I'd like to know that the fishermen and fishing groups have been talking to you and helping you to place and decide what to do and what not to do. So that would be a request of mine.
All right. Yeah, we'll take note of that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Jay?
Hi, I'm Fuller. I'm the biologist. Hi, I'm Kim Fuller. I'm the Oahu District biologist. I'm sorry, surprised, Jake. But we have been talking to the fishers. So we've met both with the Mauna Lua Fishing Hui as well as the State Fishing Hui, giving them updates. And fishermen are generally supportive of artificial reefs to provide them additional fishing opportunities. And where there's, only sand, if you add structure to it, the fish are going to have more like homes to live in. And we also are following the USA's permitting process, which does require either an exemption from an environmental assessment or an environmental assessment that we'll be doing. Yeah.
It's through USA. So that's what our permit, we have to get a permit through US Army Corps, and then they will determine what the review process is. It's a nationwide permit that we have to apply for, and so that's what we're working on and trying to get all the permits before in the springtime.
So we're doing both essential fish habitat consultation as well as Endangered Species Act consultation for all of our deployments. And we originally did have an environmental assessment for the program in general with the Office of Coastal Conservation.
I just mentioned it because that if you do an environmental assessment, you have actual record of who you talked to and what they said, and then it's codified for future, past, present, and future, and that's important too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work and for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris, the mic's yours.
Okay. Oh. That's not it.
We see it.
1 second here.
We don't see anything now. Okay.
Okay. So thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm Chris Kramer with the Mauna Loa Fish Pond Heritage Center. We are pleased to share our annual update on Kuli'ou'ou Spring and the community stewardship happening there. We thank all the community members that have been coming down in the different schools and cultural groups that have been restoring Kuli'ou'ou Spring. And so here we'll just run through a few snapshots of this last year. Here's some of the stewardship of the Kuli'ou'ou, the coconut groves. You can see we've been gearing up for the beetle.
Can you make it bigger?
Shredding and mulching some of the piles, and schools have been helping with that. And here's a famous Ulu Pale. He's helping with the coconut stewardship, harvesting some of the niu. And a lot of the niu get shared with the community, so try to share them with Lunalilo Home and different community members. This is an ancient grove of niu. Here's some of the groups coming to do research. We have different university groups coming with Chaminade, UH, and then we have a lot of community groups coming to steward and do restoration work. A big highlight this year was FestPack. We were able to share some of the resources for that, and then we had different cultural practitioners from FestPack come. It was once in a lifetime experience. Really neat that our community could be a part of that. We also had a number of new giveaways, so we've been sharing with community members. So please contact us if you would like to plant a coconut tree. Sea Grant has been helping us set up the Hua nursery to raise limu and ama. And we've also been doing invasive species removal with some of the schools that come out. And another big highlight this year was the Kuli'ou'ou Kohaku training with Kumu Kimiona Kane, training our community to repair the kuapa or walls. You can see the bank was eroding, and here you can see the progress. It's much safer now, and this is continuing into 2025. So it's really amazing to see this practice flourish. And so we are very grateful to Wamanalo Limuhui and Kimiona Kane for his training of our community. And just wanted to share what's coming up for this coming year, 2025. We have a Raise the Roof campaign, and you can see the condition. You see the big puka in the roof at the Heritage Center, and this was built in the 1940s, and it's in very poor condition. So we have some funding through the CIP process, and we're also asking the community to join us, and so we can raise the funds to replace the roof, and so that we can better accommodate our community. And here you can see what the original roof looked like in the 1940s, and up above it is the local boundary wall. And here's another picture from the 1940s, and all the beautiful hala trees alongside the spring. And you know, it is a necessity. We really need this to shelter the keiki that come, you know, from the elements and the rain. So this is something that it's not a nice to have. We really need to move. And just wanted to share. This is why we want to have this cultural treasure for our next generations, and we invite everybody to contact us and be a part of this effort. Here's our contact, maunagaufishponds@gmail.com, and our website, maunagaufishpond.org. That's our update for 2024 for Kaniwai Springs.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you for all you do. Does anyone have any questions for Chris? Chris, how often do you have community work days? Are you having them on a regular basis still?
Yes, so just contact us. We have third Saturday community work days, and then we also have school groups during the week, so they can contact us and schedule a work day.
Great. Thank you again.
Okay.
Hope to see you soon.
Likewise. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. You two, did you want to say, do you have a question, something you want to, an issue you wanted to raise?
Yeah.
Or three of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, come up to the mic.
My brother wanted to say something.
Hi.
I'm gonna lead this. My name is Joshua Gregg. I was actually on the board a few years ago.
Yes, you look familiar.
But I just want to apologize. I did not mean to cut off your presentation. I was driving, and so I called in. And so there was a significant delay between trying to, unmute myself and actually become unmute. And then at that point, I couldn't even hear you guys presenting. And so then I was talking basically to myself. So I'm very sorry about that.
Okay, thank you for hearing me, by the way. I really appreciate it. I know you guys said it at the beginning, the public comments, but there's something came to my attention today. I live on Montevea Street, and we've been having problem with our garbage truck driver for the past like 6 months now.
The we had no issues since they started the automatic pickup since as long as I can remember. And then up until this new garbage truck driver, he's been struggling on our street. I understand it's hard to drive, but what happened today I thought was an overreaction of trying to fix an issue that I didn't believe was there. There's a problem turning that the garbage truck drivers told me on my street on top of Montevideo Street. He said there's certain cars that make it difficult to turn. And then today what they did was they put up street signs all across the right side of the road going down. So that whole road will now be closed off on Wednesdays and Saturdays until the refuse is picked up. So this is talking about like dozens of families that now we all fight for parking spots as it is now. And then now on Wednesdays and Fridays, we're gonna have to cut that entire thing off. And people are gonna have to park on Kalani or East Hine Drive now. We're talking mass or super uphill walk going to like the top of Montevideo Place. It can be like a 10-minute walk going uphill. And there's a lot of people who live up there and they park on that street. It's already tough as it is now. They're walking 200, 300 feet up. I just wanted to bring to attention that I thought this was an overreaction. I know it's difficult driving a garbage truck, but I just wanted to bring this to attention.
Can you spell that street? What?
Montevideo Street, AUWEA. So to clarify what's happening, my family has lived on this street for almost 40 years now. We had, the hand collection, and then I think it's maybe 20 years ago, something like that, they switched over to the automatic containerized collection. We had no problems up until about 6 months ago. It seems like it's a new driver. We can definitely hear him coming because he honks all across Aina Haina, and we kind of live up on a hill, and so you can hear him honking. And it started where he would drive up our street, and then he would just blast his horn at 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, and everyone would have to come down and then have to move their cars. I could understand it if the street was super narrow or anything like that. But the street is absolutely wide enough that when both sides have cars parked, two cars can still pass each other driving on the street. The street is huge. We have never had a problem with any garbage truck. Delivery happens regularly. The UPS guy comes every single day, sometimes twice a day. The Amazon guy comes. No one has these problems except for the city and county. When they first started this process, they wanted us to just not park there out of courtesy, and so we didn't. But where they didn't want us to park kept growing. First it was one parking spot, then it was two parking spots, and then it was both sides of the street, and then pretty soon it was basically the whole top of the street. We called at that point to complain, and shortly after, who knows if this was intentional or just a coincidence, shortly after us bringing this to the mayor's attention and the refuse office's attention, we got notice that our garbage man had petitioned the city to make our entire street about 200 feet of no parking permanently. And we would have to walk, there's probably 80 feet of elevation change over that 200 feet. It's a complete insane request. And so we had some level of input, and the kind of compromise that we came to was that they would make no parking they would put no parking signs to reinforce what was already not legal to park in. And so that was fine. And that was it worked for a little while. For whatever reason, the past 4 weeks, the garbage man has not come until today. We have had no trash collection for 3 weeks. Blue bin, green bin, and the black cans. Black cans, I think twice at least. It's completely insane. All of the entire street is covered in trash cans, and the garbage man doesn't even try anymore. You can just see him. He'll drive real slow, and because we're perpendicular to Montevideo Street on from East Hine Drive, you can see him. He slows down, and then he doesn't even bother. Or if he does come up, he does half the street, turn around, and then leaves. And he just doesn't even try to come up here anymore. He used to honk. He doesn't do that. And so today, the reason why we're here right now is today, I was at work, we were all at work, and we only found out this evening. But today, they put in new signs that make it so we can no longer park on the entire one side of the street on Wednesdays and Saturdays or until trash collection has happened. That has decreased our parking by 50%. And this won't solve the problem because he complains about both sides of the street. And so the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to lose parking on both sides of the street. And we can't have this. I mean, we just can't. And there's no reason why. And if they truly can't, maneuver these trucks, then they should go back to hand collection. We would be in support of that. I've talked with quite a few of the neighbors. They're in support of that. And something needs to happen, but losing our parking is unacceptable. Thank you. Mhm.
Oh, Mike.
Mike.
The mic.
It's okay, I'm superior, I'm English, and you didn't win in 1766, you lost. Anyway, seriously, same with these folks. If you'd like to give me your name and phone number, I'll contact Joe Moore.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Let's get a crew up there. If it could be Saturday morning.
Yeah, let's do it.
20, 30 people,
Mhm.
make a demonstration.
I don't know if there's 20 or 30 people who live on our street, but
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Joshua, can you give Zoidel your name? Oh, okay.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for.
We'll put it on the mayor's report.
Did you contact Chair Waters?
So my mother was doing most of it. I know we contacted the mayor. We've talked to the refuse people multiple times. They've hung up on us. And then they will just disconnect the phone. It will ring. You can hear the answer, and then they disconnect it. And then my mother will call back, and then it rings, disconnect, and then you can only do that so many times. Not the mayor. This is the refuse office, and we have basically given up trying to go through them. I believe that she's contacted Councilman Waters, but I know for a fact she's contacted the mayor. Cool. Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, go
What
ahead.
did the mayor say?
So, you know what the mayor said? She did. She definitely talked to the office. I know that. I don't know. They said, so everyone has basically told her that they would look into it. I don't know exactly what the mayor said or didn't say, but probably 3 or 4 months ago at this point, because it definitely had died down after they put the no parking signs up, and we kind of had come to that conclusion. There was no problem for about 2 months, and then 3 weeks ago trash wasn't collected, and then 2 weeks ago trash wasn't collected, and then today the city, on our cameras you could see them, they recorded the trash man delivering or picking up the trash. They had, to their credit, they had 2 trash trucks come to pick up the different types of refuse, but making it where we can't park on the street is really crazy.
We have a comment from Adam Dew, Council Chair Waters representative. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, thank you for coming to the neighborhood board for this. Can you give me a call in the morning and we can connect, and I'll see how Chair Waters and our staff can help you?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I take down your phone number?
Yeah, it's 768-5044. And that's my direct number.
Okay, 808, I take it?
Correct.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One comment.
Are you still there, Adam?
Thank
Yes.
you, Adam.
Maybe
No,
you
no.
could work with these folks here having issues as well.
Yes, everyone, you can also give me a call, 768-5044. You can also email Tommy at tommy.waters@honolulu.gov. And I'll follow up with both issues tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Josh, good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too, Sharon.
Something that you need to do, I think, is memorialize, do a timeline,
Mhm.
date it, be very clear to whom you spoke, what the response was or not response.
Okay.
And do that when you give that to Adam.
Yeah,
so that he
yeah.
can-
I'm sure my mother's already done
Everybody-
something like that.
It really helps.
Yeah,
to help you. And it's a horrible story.
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, living in fear of our garbage man is something new. No, thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Okay, closing announcements.
Oh, I have
Are
something
you
to
have
say.
not? You have an
Oh,
announcement?
yeah, I don't want to demonize the garbage man or the garbage men. So there's two sides of the story. I just want to say that.
Is that it? Okay. Our next meeting after Thanksgiving, and I want to, we wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving and a safe Thanksgiving, and it's a blessing to have all these wonderful board members to work with and such a great community to represent. We really feel grateful and wish you the the best holidays and the best turkey and whatever. Our next meeting is going to be on December 4th. So we're meeting Wednesdays now, the first Wednesday of the month. Same place. And you can either come or dial in via WebEx. So I want to thank James from Olelo and Zoidel, our neighborhood assistant, for making it possible for all of us to conduct the neighborhood board meetings. So take care, everyone. Aloha and ahui ho.
The number, Adam.